welcome back to my channel. My name is Leah. In today's video I want to share with you some of the benefits of bottle feeding your baby. Now I just want to start with a little disclaimer. I'm not saying that I think you should bottle feed your baby or it's the best way for your baby. What I'm saying is there are benefits to bottle feeding your baby. As an individual, you may not feel inclined to breastfeed, or you might not be able to. In my case, I did try to breastfeed, and at day 4 I was basically told I needed to put my little baby onto a bottle because he was losing too much weight. I did try to continue to breastfeed, but because he was then taking the bottle, it was very difficult, and I continued to express milk, but that was really difficult. I wasn't expressing very much milk because of different things, and that was what had happened with us, and we ended up bottle feeding. And I felt an immense amount of guilt because of that. It was taken out of my hands, and I think that was probably what I struggled with the most. It wasn't my decision, it was a decision that was made for me because of circumstances. And there are a lot of benefits to bottle feeding your baby, so I thought I'd share some of those benefits with you today. But my thoughts are that if you're able to and want to breastfeed, then by all means go ahead and do it. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing, but it's not for everyone, and not everyone is able to do it for whatever reason. So these are some benefits. We should never feel guilty for something that's taken out of our hands, and even if it's something that you've chosen to do, you shouldn't feel guilty for that. And I found when I was preparing to have my little boy, there was very little information about bottle feeding. It was all about breastfeeding and the benefits of that, but they didn't talk about the difficulties of breastfeeding. They kind of did say it would be hard, but they didn't really let you know how hard it would be. And when I had difficulties, I don't really feel like it was addressed properly, that I got the support that I needed for whatever reason, which if they want you to breastfeed, you really do need that support. And I think because there was so much information about breastfeeding and such a push for it, that caused some of the guilt, because why shouldn't have I been able to breastfeed my baby? You know, it's such a natural thing to do, and yet I wasn't able to do it. But there are benefits to bottle feeding, so I will go through those with you now. Now these are in no particular order, these are just some of the thoughts that I had, and I have a list of 10. Benefit number 1 is that you can receive help from others. Now obviously you can receive help from others anyway, even if you breastfeed, but this means you can also receive help from others with the feeding of the baby right from day 1, or when, in my case, from day 4, or whenever it is that you switch over to bottle feeding, you can receive help from others. And trust me, others will absolutely love it that they can help with that and give you a little rest, but they'll love the snuggles and the bonding time with that little baby. Number 2 is that you can get a routine. Generally with bottle feeding you can form some kind of routine early on, so you can plan your day, and if you want to go out, you know roughly when you'll be able to go out. Even if the baby is being fed on demand, as in your first feed of the day is dependent on the time the baby wakes up, you know roughly you're going to be feeding them in another 2 hours or another 3 hours depending on the baby's routine, but you can generally get a bit of a routine going. I found that with me. I was feeding on demand, but it was more when the baby woke up, I would give them a feed, and then I usually would time it for when the next feed happened, and I could pretty much time my day from the beginning of the day. Maybe I couldn't plan it the day before very early on, but I could plan it on the day. Number 3 is that they will start to go longer between feeds at an earlier age. There probably won't be any cluster feeding. They will probably feed every 2 or 3 hours, and you can set up your routine with that, and that time will start to stretch at a quite young age. It will start to build up, and you can take the cues from the baby as they maybe sleep longer, or so I was just let Tommy sleep until his next feed, and then when he woke up it was pretty much on time with things, but I took a few clues to his changing of habits to know that actually this is now spreading a bit longer. Number 4 is similar, and it's that they will start to go longer at night, and hopefully you can get some decent sleep. So at a younger age they might even be able to go all night from say 11 o'clock through till 6 or 7 o'clock, and that is amazing. That sleep is just so helpful when you're such a new mum. Number 5 is that dads can help with those night feeds too, so give mum even more of a rest, particularly when dads aren't working and they are home with the family. they can give mum a bit more of a rest and they can get up in the night to give those night feeds. Number 6 is that it gives dads more chance to bond with the baby. Obviously there are other opportunities to bond with the baby, but they do feed so much when they're first born, and if their dads aren't able to join in the feed times, they can feel a little bit left out. So it's nice for them to be able to feel like they are helping out and bonding with the baby a bit more. Number 7 is that you know exactly how much milk your baby is taking. It can be a real worry in those first few days and weeks when your baby is born, knowing if you're feeding your baby enough and if they're putting weight on. And obviously with my case, my baby was actually losing weight, and when we got him home from hospital, he was such an unsettled baby. We thought we'd brought the wrong baby home actually, because he had been so settled in hospital and all of a sudden it had just changed. And it turns out that he was just hungry and I didn't know, and so it is a real worry in those first few days. But with bottles, you know exactly how much they're taking, and if they're having a bit of an off day, you know they haven't had much and you can just keep an eye on it. Number 8 is that the baby isn't just reliant on mum for food. That can be a real strain on mum if the baby is only looking for her for the food, but if they are bottle fed, they will look to dad or anyone else around them for that food. Number 9 is that they won't use mum as a soother. They will be able to use a dummy, their thumb or nothing at all, but they won't use mum as a soother. And number 10 is that it allows dads to feel more involved generally. But allowing dads to be involved in those feed times is so wonderful, and they will really enjoy it and feel that they are really needed and not just there as a spare part. So they are my top 10 benefits for bottle feeding your baby. Like I've already said, if you're able to breastfeed and want to breastfeed, by all means do it. It's a beautiful thing and I think it's wonderful, and I wish I'd been able to. I do feel I missed out a little bit because of that, but I do have a very healthy baby. Big boy now, he's 13 months old and he is the healthiest little baby you can have. So not breastfeeding him hasn't affected him at all. He is a very healthy baby and we have a good bond regardless of the fact that I haven't breastfed him. Let me know in the comments below if you struggled with breastfeeding and how you felt about it, because I had a real hard time with it. It caused me a lot of emotions and stress in those early days, and particularly when you're already having a lot of emotions, it was added to a lot, and I didn't think I'd put on that pressure on myself, but obviously I had, and it was there deep inside. I think it's because the decision had been taken away from me rather than me making that decision for myself. I felt like it had been taken away, and I did try really hard with the breastfeeding, but also with expressing, and it just didn't work out for me, which is a shame, but it's not the end of the world, and there are, as I've just said, so many benefits of bottle feeding your baby. If you have struggled to breastfeed your baby, I hope this has helped you to feel less guilty about bottle feeding your baby, because there are so many benefits. And there are a million other ways that you can bond with your baby. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!